Hello, it is Friday, May 8th. It's about 3:30 in the morning. I am wide awake because I've been working nights. I've been trying to reset myself onto a normal sleep schedule so that when I get back home, I can sleep normally, but it doesn't seem to be working. I curled my hair yesterday just in an effort to stay awake because I have to stand up to do that. So I did not do it for this video. Just kind of want to put out my final thoughts on my time here before I come home. After I do this, I'm probably going to try to sign off of social media for a little while, or at least avoid using it excessively because frankly it pisses me off and I don't want to live in it. So I wanted to kind of get my final thoughts out so that if people do have questions for me, I can refer them back here, because this isn't something that I want to relive over and over and over. And I know people have so many questions and so many thoughts, and I want to be able to share that with as many people as I can. But for my mental and emotional health, I can't relive it forever, constantly. So my final thoughts. I feel like there was a talk show host that said that. First of all, I feel incredibly grateful to have had this experience. I feel like things lined up in my life to allow it to happen. And there are so many people that I have to thank for that. Mostly my parents, my kids, my job, and everyone, really everyone in my life just was so supportive from day one. And so many people that I've met here have not had that experience. So I'm really, really grateful for that. And also the things that lined up that made me realize that I had to do this. I really truly felt called to be here. I couldn't not come. I also feel like things happened that kind of solidified for the fact that I needed to be here. So that was, it kind of pushed me. It kind of, when I was questioning whether or not I needed to be here, just so many things lined up that it just seemed like it was perfect. And I couldn't not answer that call. Also, the people that are down here that I am so grateful for, that I have made such great friendships with. Some of them I might never see again. Some of them I might never talk to again. Some of them I never even learn their names. But each person that I have crossed paths with has made an impact in my life and my time down here. And that can never be taken away. So, and I hope that I can and I will carry on and maintain relationships with some of the people that I've become close to. They're from all over the country and all different walks of lives and different stages of our lives. And we've already talked about trying to meet up eventually, and maybe in a couple of years when we can look back on this and when we have some perspective and see, what has changed, hopefully a lot. My thoughts on social media. So in my time down here, I have not once watched the news. I don't care what the politicians are saying, quite honestly. I have been fortunate enough to have the PPE I needed. It's not 100% guaranteed that it's protecting us. We did have to use an N95 for an entire shift. I've heard stories of people getting one once a week, once every 3 days, whatever they are. My personal experience was that we were provided exactly what we were promised. We got our N95s every day. We had hat covers and shoe covers, gowns and gloves and everything we needed to safely perform our job. Of course, there are situations that I saw, that I've heard of, where that was not the case. Not that I saw, that I have heard of. But I can only speak to my experience, and I felt like I was protected. I felt the things that we were lacking were things that we could compensate for or could do without. There were a lot of things that we had to kind of change and get creative about, as far as patient care and rearranging things and the extension tubing going in and out of the room, because we were running IV tubing outside the room for our safety and for the patient's safety, because at that point you're able to make changes and do things outside the room without having to gown and glove up, and you can more accurately and more efficiently make changes and make adjustments when needed. As for accusations that are being thrown out on social media, I have tried really hard to avoid even watching videos, reading people's reaction to videos. Of course, I have seen stuff. I've had stuff sent to me. Stuff has come across my feed. When I see an opinion on social media that I disagree with, I don't react to it, because it's not worth it. I don't want to hear people's opinions on why this is made up or exaggerated or anything like that, because I can only speak to my experience. In my experience, this is the absolute worst thing I've ever encountered. I've worked in a very high acuity ICU where our patients were super, super sick, where they came in with almost no chance of survival, and we would fight through that and get them as well as we could. In this situation, in this disease, at this time, this is so much worse than anything I've ever seen before. This disease is so unpredictable. We know so little about it. We are treating it retroactively. So we're not able to ever get ahead of the disease because we don't know what's coming next. And it sucks. It's scary as hell. You can have a patient doing so well, and despite all of your best efforts and despite the best nursing care that you can possibly give and the best medical care that we can possibly give, it doesn't matter. These patients live or die based on some algorithm that we don't understand. For those people saying that patients are being mistreated or untreated or neglected or whatever they're calling it, I'm sure that's the case in some spaces. I have not seen that. I have not experienced that. I have not allowed that with my patients. And I haven't even had to fight against it. The providers and the nursing staff that I've worked with have all been phenomenal. Those doctors do not leave the unit. They spend 12 hours side by side with their nurses, going in and out of rooms whenever it's necessary. Of course, it's slightly less than they normally would because of the gowning and gloving, but I have not seen one single doctor stand outside a room and refuse to go in, even if it's not an emergent situation, even if it's just something that looks off. These doctors, NPs, PAs, whether they be intern level, residents, fellows, attendings, every single one of them is willing to put in the work, to go into the rooms, to risk their own safety and the safety of their family, to do everything in their power to help these patients. I've worked with doctors and nurses that are living in hotels blocks away from their family just so that they can continue doing their job and also keep their family safe. It's the amount of commitment and dedication down here and sacrifice is unmatched. It's unheard of. So anything that contradicts that, may be true in small groups of people or whatever. It's not my experience. I have not once seen a patient neglected. I've seen doctors on their personal phones calling families. I've seen doctors with iPads calling families. I've personally called family from my phone. My experience has been wonderful as far as that goes. Aside from the whole, patients dying anyways because this disease is so unpredictable, the care they're getting here is about as good as it can get. So I will not respond to anything that says otherwise. So when this is over, I will be signing off of social media. I will be, kind of closing myself off to negativity and the conspiracy theories, because unless you can, no, there's no unless. There's nothing that could convince me otherwise. I do hate that we have lost a lot of our freedoms. I hate not being able to get my hair done and my nails done. A pedicure. I don't get my fingernails done. I need my eyebrows done. I need someone to fix these bags under my eyes that have developed in the last 21 days, 24 days. All those things. My kids are going crazy at home, not being able to go shopping, go do things with their friends. I get it. It sucks. We are all suffering. But if the alternative is that even one person I care about dies from this disease, I will lock myself in my house for as long as I have to. And if you feel any other way than that, you are selfish and you are the problem. And I don't normally make blanket statements like that, but I feel strongly enough to say it out loud and to publish it on the internet, and it's just the way I feel. I know our country has to reopen. We have to get back to some sort of normal. I know that normal will not look normal. I hope that we are able to, in the very near future, be able to travel again and shop again and do the things we want to do. But if people aren't smart about it and respectful and selfless, we are just going to be back in a worse situation than we've already been in, because our healthcare system is already so strained that we couldn't handle another surge like New York City got a month and a half ago. So just keep that in mind as you start to resume your normal life and your normal activities. My eyes are watering because I'm so cold, so tired. That's pretty much my thoughts. I know this is a long-ass video. I know I kind of ran on and rambled, and it's just how I work. A thought comes in my head and I say it. These are really completely unedited and unscripted. I'm sure you can tell that by watching. I am going to add a couple pictures at the end of this, because I do also feel really, really strongly about the connections I've made down here and the acts of kindness that I've seen. There are some pictures of us without masks, and before people, get on my ass about that, we do practice social distancing. We do protect ourselves and our patients as much as possible. We also have to breathe once in a while. We are living in close quarters. We are in the hospital for 12 hours a day, in our hotel in a bus for 2 hours a day, and then we spend the rest of the time in the hotel. So whenever I'm outside, whenever I'm able to, I do take my mask off. And, if I see a group of people, I will put it on. But when you're outside and you're not close to people, I think you need to take your mask off, and I don't see anything wrong with that. As long as you're not wearing gloves. Don't ever wear gloves. Keep your hand sanitizer nearby. Wash your hands as much as possible. Wear your mask whenever you can't be 6 feet away from someone. And just be smart and be caring. All right. Good night for the final time. Unless I think of more stuff I want to add. Goodbye.
Yep.
Oh, there they are again.